Can't hear anything.
Welcome, everybody, to Dead Talk Live. And would you know it? The names are all screwed up. I want to welcome Vanessa Marano. Natasha, your name is correct. Natasha Henstridge and Adam Sherman. So, obviously, Adam and Vanessa just switched their names. I apologize for that, guys. Thank you so much for coming on our show. And let's just get right to it. Now, you guys have an upcoming movie called this game's called Murder, which is a really fascinating title. Now, Adam, uh, when people read the synopsis of this movie, it's labeled as a crime drama thriller, but the synopsis comes across as this is a very lighthearted movie. Is that something that viewers should expect when they walk in to watch it?
I don't believe it should be lighthearted like for children or for the faint of heart. However, it is satirical, and for people who like dramatic comedy, it could be perceived as lighthearted if you're into dark kind of comedy. You know, if you're prepared for an adult dark comedy, it could be lighthearted in that way, but definitely
Okay.
not for children or something.
So, Vanessa and Natasha, the movie is coming out December 3rd, which is just a few days away. What are your thoughts? Are you excited for the final product to be seen by the audience? I know you guys, just before we went live, were talking about the premiere. So, let's start with Vanessa. What are your thoughts as the premiere date is approaching?
I'm really excited. We shot this, 2 years ago in a very, very different world than we're in right now. And it was funny, coming back to it and seeing all the visuals and how the wardrobe plays together and some of the overtop performances and the bizarreness truly of this story. It's one of the most unique things I've ever done. And it was incredibly, Natasha and I have been saying this, kind of a freeing experience to do something that Adam has said this as well, is a fairy tale in many, many ways, but dark. And it's, like I said, super unique. And for anyone who wants to kind of see something as like, I've never actually seen that captured in film before, that's this movie.
So, Natasha, what are your thoughts as the premiere date is approaching?
Well, I'm super excited. I'm actually going to see the movie tonight for the first time, so I'm really looking forward to that. But I agree with Vanessa. I think doing a film that is sort of heightened reality, off off left center, left to field of anything, and sort of just that kind of heightened reality where it's based in certain interesting concepts, but is complicated. Like I always like people are like, what's the film about? I'm like, well, it's about, false idols. It's about social media. It's about red shoes. It's about murder. It's about comedy. It's about so and I can never really explain it. So it's actually wonderful to be here in this interview and I can hear Adam, but it's a complicated and like I think so many different art pieces, you can go into a room and 10 people can look at something and every one of them will see something different. And I think it's a film like that. And from Adam's previous films, I haven't seen the film yet, but I know even when we were shooting it and stuff, visually, people that are into visual arts, I think are gonna have a field day with this, because even when we were shooting it, I was looking at seeing the monitors and
Just in
just
awe.
so creative. Well, you've seen it. I haven't even seen it yet.
Yeah.
So like creative, just yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
So, Adam, back to you. Were you the one who had the final decision on casting choices?
Absolutely, yes.
So, when Vanessa and Natasha, I mean, when they came across, and I don't know if you guys auditioned or not, was it just a natural fit for both of them?
Absolutely. It was like instantaneous, like she's right, she's right. Like
Now, the film also.
immediately
Oops, go on.
some people say they shoot from the hip, like bang. It's like I kind of cast from the hip with the gut. It's like they were just right. I don't know why.
Thank you. Now you're asking after the movie, you're really wondering why. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Now,
What was I thinking? No, I'm kidding.
the movie also stars Ron Perlman, and Natasha, Ron Perlman plays your husband
That's my husband.
in the movie. How about Ron Perlman and his casting? Did you basically, was there any role that presented you a problem as to finding the right actor to play it? Adam?
Whoa, what? Ron Perlman?
I was
Oh
asking
yeah,
you.
yeah. I wanted him too. Like he was who I wanted, and he said it was the craziest script he ever read in his life, and that's why he took the part. And I find that as a compliment, and he's a very educated man. He was really funny and brilliant and great to work with. It's like some of the things, like he wasn't just thinking about his character. He was thinking about me, why I wrote the script, like so many different levels of things that he was thinking about, and he figured it all out. Like
Oh,
he figured even things out that I didn't know. It's like, wait a minute, this is like, wait, you're a little bit younger than you look. I was like, well, people tell me that sometimes. Like, wait a minute, you're not like uh what is this social media kid? You're a kid that grew up on Dr. Seuss and Grimm's fairy tales. And I was like, yeah. And it was kind of like he just knew what was going on, like beyond his character, but the whole story. It was like he was just like
He's a true veteran. He's a professional through and through.
he knew he just wanted to know everything and beyond, and figured it all out like within a matter of days.
That's
can I call him before I do any more interviews then so he can explain it all to me?
Now, Natasha and Vanessa, you two are very well established actors. Let's start with Natasha. What is it? What was it about your role that really attracted you to making this film?
Honestly, like Ron said, I had never read anything. Honestly, when I looked at some of the stuff that they sent, with that before sending the script, they sent me, I feel like some pages. And as I was reading it, I had never seen anything like this, and it was a little bit like trying to decode. And I this isn't. I mean, no offense to this, but I actually asked my agent, is this what we're really will be doing though, or is this kind of like, it felt like a word salad, and I wasn't understanding how these things connect, where they all came from.
Uh-huh.
I feel like particularly my dialogue was quite that way in the film. I could be wrong. I need to see the film as a reminder.
Oh no, I totally understand what you're trying to
Right?
say.
Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, decoding this. I actually just decoded some of it in the last interview. So I'm getting on board now, but it was just so fascinating, super freeing. I then looked at Adam's work, and I loved his other films. So I was like, oh my God, visually, this is going to be really cool. And I don't know exactly what's happening right now. But that's what's really interesting about it, and I thought that would be a really, really fun thing to play. And so,
Well,
and looking together.
tonight when you actually watch it, hopefully it will be the final piece that's missing in the puzzle to put it all together for you.
A full circle.
Exactly. Now, Vanessa, for you and your character, you play Jennifer. What was it that attracted you to Jennifer?
This film is something that I've never had an opportunity to do anything like before, and I feel like I'll never have an opportunity to do anything like it after as well. It very much sits in its own space. So for me, it was really the opportunity to play a character I'm not normally cast in. I very much get a certain type of role, and this was so out there and so different. And so what was fun was through Adam's guidance, got a little bit of freedom to just go and play. And like I said in the last interview, like I feel like I found her as sort of like a princess in a fairy tale, but like Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard, like with alcohol problems and wanting to murder people. Like it's just it was this weird combination of this very old weather soul, but this doe-eyed heroine walking through something that takes such a dark twist. I never had that opportunity before, and that was what was so cool to play with. And that's something I love about independent filmmaking, is like you never know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And this was bizarre and unique, and it was an experience which was super cool.
And it's fascinating that you say that, because I always ask a lot of my guests about wanting to expand their horizons as an actor, not being boxed into playing only a certain type of character. And it sounds for you that was very important and a big reason as to why you took this part. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, I mean, and people will know from this movie and everything that Natasha's saying about decoding the dialogue and it being very complicated. Like, this is not an easy film to do from an actor's perspective. And so that challenge was really enticing. And it was like, well, I might fall on my face and not do this well, or it might turn out awesome. I don't know, but I'm going to try and give it all I got. Right?
Well, I loved it. And I loved it, and I think you all did awesome. Now, Adam, you wrote, directed, produced. You wore a lot of hats in this project. Was this the first time you've ever done that, where you were a producer, a writer, director, pretty much everything behind the camera?
I make movies. You know, you call me a writer, producer, director. I mean, I'm a storyteller. I tell stories, and that's what I do.
And what was the inspiration for this movie for you as a writer?
I think it started out with I wanted to explain some corruption in the fashion industry that I had become aware of, and then I wanted some symbolism to go with that, and a direction. So that's where I got like the designer of the red shoes, and then from there it kind of just was like things going on in the world, things going on in my life, nothing to do with the original inspiration, just inspirations coming from daily life and just things that were happening all the time. So, and then there was like, I think 3 stories that I braided together, and I don't know, I just created.
When you sit down to write, do you sort of have the whole story planned out in your mind, or do you improvise as you go along?
Neither. The way it is for me is that I have to write something, you know, like if you're making a garden, you have to plant something, but you don't know exactly how the garden's going to look and exactly how the garden's going to grow, but you give it fertilizer, you water it, and then you trim it, and you know, if you want red roses, you plant red roses, but maybe you don't know, but maybe they'll come out and they'll be a different color, and then do you want squash or do you want Brussels sprouts? It's like, I mean, writing is harder than that.
Oh yeah.
Better analogy, I'm sorry.
Oh no, squash is hard to grow.
Well, my mom could do it in Vermont. I don't know. I never tried.
We're almost out of time. Before we go, I want to ask you guys one last question, and we'll go around the board. The movie centers around the Wallendorf family. What, in your own words, how would you describe the family, the Wallendorf family? Let's start with Natasha, who has like a really scared look on her face.
Oh God, there's so many things I could say. I'm not going to get into politics. Oh gosh.
Would you say
people so removed from reality because of you know, like many, I think, wealthy, famous families that are just so far removed from what's really happening in the streets and with people and with other human. Not necessarily, I'm just saying there are lots.
In a bubble.
They're in a bubble, right? I can't give you a clip, like a good sound bite on it, but it's that being inside the bubble with the yes people and the this and being able to do whatever you want and have whatever you want and treat people however you want. It's that on steroids, really, is the idea for me.
Perfect.
Just pushing that envelope in that way. So,
Vanessa,
yeah.
do you agree with that? Do you have more to add, or do you think Natasha hit it head on?
They're just your normal, average American family with a ton of bloodlust.
Would you call them greedy, Vanessa? Would you call them greedy?
I might call them greedy, John. I might say that they have a little sense of greed within them. Just a tad.
Now, let's ask the writer himself, the person who created the Wallendorf family. How would you describe them, Adam?
There's a comic book factor. It's like it's like Superman, the Incredible Hulk kind of thing, but like with a wealthy family. It's like it's comedic. It's satirical. Has a comic book factor in my mind. It's not like. It's like at some point it's just like, how is everybody going to kill each other off and why? And I was just kind of putting it together like a little puzzle.
Awesome. Guys, we're out of time. I want to thank all three of you so much. The movie is called This Game's Called Murder. It's being released to theaters this Friday, December 3rd. Adam, is it a nationwide release this Friday?
I mean, not wide, however, nationwide.
Okay, that's what I meant. It is nationwide. So, guys, check it out. I saw it. It's a great film. Natasha, you're going to love it when you watch the final product tonight. Again, thank you to Vanessa Marano, Natasha Henstridge, and Adam Sherman for coming on our show. Thank you for our viewers for tuning in. Until next time, stay safe. And on behalf of all of us, stay walking. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.